Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Food Diaries right here at Russian Meghalaya. And yes, we're back with another episode with Mr. Rajeev Laloo.
Thank you for having me.
All talented guy. And we had a blast in the first episode, right?
New location
And,
now.
Yeah, we're in a new location. This isn't Himalayas anymore.
Yeah, no, we're back in
We're
the
back.
plains.
Yeah. So I can see
You can see the meat.
the meat. Yeah.
The
So
meat.
run us through.
Okay, so today we're making mutton curry. Again,
Wow.
another commonplace recipe dish you find in all Nepali household.
Okay.
This is not something that we cook very often, but on occasions, like if you invite guests over, this is something that you find, which is like
So
really.
you've invited me over for the show.
Yeah, so I want you to work for it like last time, work for your food. So we're making mutton curry. Do you want me to go through the ingredients?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So something which might not be very common is we use pumpkin. As you can see, pumpkin. So we want to completely melt the pumpkin, so
Okay.
it becomes the gravy of
Alright.
the meat. So obviously we have the mutton,
Okay.
local source, and then we're also going to add potatoes. As you can see, these are like big chunks of potatoes. Here we have garam masala.
Okay.
Okay, not grounded. These are the real deal. And then this one is actually onion and red chilies. Paste
You've
of
blended them.
yeah, the paste of onions and red chilies. This is ginger, garlic, some garam masala, some black pepper powder, and our favorite, the onion.
The onions.
And then we have these condiments, turmeric, chili powder, we have the jeera powder and the coriander powder,
Okay.
and oil. Yeah, these are the ingredients we use, and obviously we have the salt.
Yes.
So yeah,
what's the
we
first
start.
step?
So the first step is we heat the pressure cooker. We need a pressure cooker to cook mutton because
Obviously,
as you know,
yes.
mutton is like a very hard meat, right? So I'll just heat the pressure cooker here. So we'll need onions, so might as well start with
So you want me
chopping
to
the
chop
onions.
them?
Yeah, chop them. Okay, I think the pan is hot. So while you're doing that, I'm going to pour some oil into the. Now here you'll need a lot of oil, probably more than the oil we used for the chicken
Wow.
in the previous episode.
So you're giving me a treat and cholesterol at the same time.
Yeah, I mean sometimes you have to make compromises for good taste. So, but then yeah, I mean you will not realize when you eat it, you won't feel the oil. It just goes into the meat. Yeah, this should be about it because we're going to add. That is half kg of meat, so this should be enough. Again, we're using mustard oil, right? There's not too much, right? No, for this amount of. Okay, so the oil is heating up. Now, what do you think we'll add first?
Of course. Or maybe the garam masala.
No, actually you're right, I forgot, I almost forgot. We'll put the garam masala in. So, yeah, you can just put it all in. Right? Okay. I'm going to, I think.
Is it really? Or do you like butter instead using hot oil?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how long would this generally take? For the whole thing?
The whole thing takes about an hour to cook. Like I said, this is a very tough meat, right? You really want to cook it. And another thing is if you can smell it, you get the raw meat smell. This is something that you want to completely get rid of. Okay. So you want to get rid of the smell of meat, and that's why we add garam masala and a lot of masalas. So once that smell is gone, you can just put the lid on and let it cook. Okay, I think the meat is heating up. I think we'll just let this. You can see, right, the water is gathering at the bottom. So this water has to really dry up, and then when the water is all dried up, we will put the onion. So as you can see, the oil, right, seeping out. The water has a little bit dried out, right? So at this stage, you can add your onions in.
These are my onions, huh?
Yeah, these are because you cut them up, right? So these are your onions. Put the onions in.
I'm going to take this one.
Go ahead. You take the entire dish. So once these are in, you do the same thing again. And you know what? Maybe we can add the salt as well, because it tenderizes the meat.
So about a teaspoon.
That's yeah. Like I said, I generally eyeball it, but depends on how much you want, how much you prefer, right? So you mix it up really well, and now you cook this until the onion is a little brownish. So you want to maybe burn it a little, not too much, but slightly. So we wait until the oil seeps out and the onion is a little brown. So now you can see, right, the onion has browned up a little, yeah, and even the meat, right, and the smell is not so raw and strong, right. So now we can put the other ingredients in. So we'll start with the ginger and garlic paste. So you can add maybe, we need a lot, so maybe 5, maybe 6 of those.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6.
Okay. Another 5 spoons of those.
Ginger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just a little bit more. Tiny bit, yeah.
Okay.
So once these are in, the others will also go. I'll give it a good mix. Right. And now you can also add. So one thing we can do is, these are the wet ingredients, right? This is the onion and red chili, right? Now you can either put the dry ingredients directly into this, but what we like to do is we put the dry ingredients into this, and then add it here, because so that you don't burn them accidentally, because this is just oil, right? So I want you to add 2 of these, not full, but maybe just maybe 1 of those, a little bit more. Then this is turmeric, then and 2 of those. 2 of that's chili powder. So maybe not too much, depending on how much you want it. Yeah,
I think that's fine.
but it also gives it the color.
Yeah.
This is not very spicy. That one is coriander powder. So just little bit.
That's it.
1 more. Right, and this one, just 1 spoon. This. More. Okay. Alright, so you give it a good mix. I know the container is kind of small, right? So you can directly add it here. Yeah, that should be it. Put the entire thing in. Don't waste it.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste it.
Sometimes we'll just put water there, and then, in fact, we can do it. Right?
Yeah.
Because we do need water, so maybe this is like hot, warm water. Put a little bit of water and yeah. And now everything is here, so we've already added the salt, right? So mix this all up.
That's looking really, really well. The color's gone out.
Yeah, like I said, right? I mean, if you
Looking really vibrant.
so we added based on how much we added, right? So the people who are watching can decide how much of that red chili do they want to add, because the after product might not be what we anticipated. So, alright, and just frequently open and close it. So I'll just put the lid on, cover the flame, and then we'll, sporadically just check and move and things like that. Okay, so the meat has been cooking for a while, right?
Yeah.
So I
Can see the oil coming out.
yeah, you can see the oil coming out. This means the masalas we added has been cooked, right? And you can, if you take a sniff,
Yeah.
the smell has changed a little bit, right? It's not so raw and uncooked, right? So now at this stage, what you can do is it's been on high flame all this time, right? Now you can add your pumpkin, right? You can just put the entire batch. I'll give it a good mix, and with this you can also add your potatoes, but I think it'll be easier for us to mix without the potatoes. Right? So I kept this in water, okay, so that it doesn't brown, right? So I'll just put the entire, this is one potato cut into two. You want your pumpkin to be small pieces because you want them to melt, but you don't want you don't want your potatoes to melt, right? So that's why these are big chunks. However, the pumpkins are small because you want to melt into a gravy, right? And so yeah, give it a good mix. If you feel like the bottom is burning, you can always add a bit of water, right? And then you can add the garam masala.
1 teaspoon?
Yeah, 2 should be enough. And then one like a spoon of black pepper. So once that is done, you give it a good mix, right? To make sure everything is mixed well. So you notice we didn't add any tomatoes here, right?
Yeah.
Because the pumpkin will add the gravy.
That's not
Pumpkin gravy. Now of course you're gonna have to add some water into it. So once you mix it well, all the masalas are in. What we're going to do is we're going to add some warm water.
And I'm guessing we're gonna
Just 2 cups based on, you just want to like cover your potatoes and your meat, right? Not all the way to the top.
and you're gonna whistle this, right?
Yeah, so we're going to close the lid, right? And then on high flame and wait until 4 whistles, 4 complete whistles. Then you can lower your flame and wait for another 2 whistles, and then they should be done.
So the mutton was, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
the
still,
mutton is,
it's still on the process.
yeah.
So right now we have, I think, let me guess, it's some sort of a chutney.
Yeah,
salad.
this is okay, 1 second, the oil is heating up. So this is the Nepali chutney.
Okay.
So I'm heating this oil up because this is going to end up in the chutney.
Okay.
So I'm just heating this up. This is just mustard oil, nothing else.
Okay.
A little amount, maybe 1 cup.
Alright.
Okay, for this amount. So the main ingredient for this chutney is the banana blossoms. So we call them bunga in our language, Nepali. So this is something that you'll find again very common, right? So we're going to do this. So these are the raw flowers. So you can see, right, when you prepare them. So the way we prepare them is we just take these individual petals, right? And we take this, I don't know, technically we call it a stamen, right? This is the hard part. We take this off, right? And these portion you boil them up.
Yeah.
In a pressure cooker, you boil them up and they eventually turn up like this. Remember what we did with the gundrup, right?
Yes.
We squeeze the water out of it and this is the end product.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is, I want you to chop them roughly into small pieces.
Okay.
So you can start the process when the oil is heating up.
And what about the other ingredients?
Or the other ingredients, yeah. So again, most important, apart from the apart from the banana, is the sesame seed. So this is the paste made out of sesame and seedlam, right? And you can see the oil seeping out of the seeds, right?
Okay.
So you want that, when you're mixing it, you want that oil to show up, right? So this is a mixture of those, and then this is plain green chili.
Okay.
We have a little bit of garlic paste.
Okay.
This is lemon juice.
Okay.
And these are boiled potatoes.
Okay.
Cut into cubes, right? So again, the process begins with you cutting them into small,
Again.
roughly chopped pieces. Let me put this. Just roughly cut them up. You don't want long strands of these. So you can start by putting this mix here. So this is like a dressing of a sort. Again, this is a chutney,
Everything,
right?
or
Yeah,
just-
the entire thing. Put it into the. There's a thick paste, right?
Very thick paste.
Yeah. So this is just like I said, sesame seed, right? Okay, you can use the same spoon. Now using the same spoon, maybe you can put the entire chili paste in. It's not very spicy, the green chili, so that's why.
I hope so.
It's not very spicy, I tried it. And then put the garlic mix. And then finally put in the lemon. The entire, yeah, the whole thing. we might need more lemon. And now you give it a good mix. Just mix it up. You can okay, so wait, once you're mixing it, okay,
Am I doing a good job?
yeah, you are. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the oil into the mix, right? So let's keep it on the wooden stand, right? So before we add the oil into the mix, I'm going to add a little turmeric, the same thing we did with the gundruk dressing, right? So I'm just going to add a little bit of turmeric here, right? This oil is hot, right? And then I'm going to put this, so make sure you're safe, at a safe distance. And now, yeah, the sizzling, yeah, the sizzling, yeah.
Hot oil and sizzling.
Yeah, and this is our recipe, this is what we do, it's very common. You mix it up as well, it's very hot, so be careful.
The turmeric is infusing with the chili and the sesame seeds. I just got a woof of.
Yeah, I got the smell, it's strong here. Okay, so mix it up really well.
I think that's done.
Yeah, and now then you can simply add the bungas, right? We'll add the bunga in. You can use the spoon, so yeah. Oh, that's a very good way of. Yeah, and then you mix it well. We usually prefer to do it with hands, you know, you just push the masala into the bungas, right?
Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time. But because if we're doing it on a TV show, right, people might be grossed out by our hands. But you know what? Like when you make it alone, you do use your hands. And then simply you can add.
Potatoes?
Did we add salt? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Let's add a teaspoon. I think because we use salt, we added salt in the potato already. So I'm just going to use one small tiny teaspoon and then mix it up. And let me put the potato in. I'll just dump it all in together. We add potato at the last point, right? Because we don't want the potato to get mashed up, right?
61, like chunky.
Yeah. So this should be done. And then at this point, how does it smell?
Really well.
So this is easy, right?
Yeah, my mouth is like watering already.
So at this point what we do is we usually taste like the salt and the lemon, right, if you need more. And if you think it needs more, then you add more and then you let it rest.
Well,
I don't want to do it like, not now maybe, because I can maybe a little bit. Maybe it needs a little bit of lemon. But the spice is fine. Just a tiny bit, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that should be.
A little bit more.
The thing is,
nice.
Yeah, what you have to do is you have to let it sit for a while. Let the juices get inside the potatoes, right? Okay. And then you don't immediately eat it right away. You let it sit for a while and then maybe after like 20-30 minutes, and then you eat it, right?
So,
yeah,
starting off with a lot of ingredients. Now
just tiny bit.
2, 3. Yeah. So
actually, I mean, this looks simple and very less ingredient, but this is actually a mix we made.
Okay. So what's
because of time constraint. Because usually we do this overnight, right? Okay. So I'll just explain how this was made. It's not very tricky, but it's just that we have to keep it. So I couldn't do it right now. So this is a mix of rice flour, and some all-purpose flour. Or maida, right? And then some semolina or suji. Yeah. So these 3 ingredients all dry, right? And on this you add a little bit of ghee. Okay. Right? So ghee is the wet ingredient. So you mix it all up, right? Okay. And then a little bit of baking soda and powder. Okay. So that is like 5 ingredient mix. I already did it here, and we keep it overnight, maybe 1 or 2 hours, right? And then what we do is we mix it with milk and sugar, right? Because So what I've done here is this is milk and sugar.
Okay.
So
you've
milk is
added the
already,
sugar.
yeah, I've already added the sugar. Depends on your preference. Some people prefer it very sweet, some do not prefer any sweet, right? So depends on depending on how much sweet you want the end product to be. You add the sugar into your milk, mix them up, and then you add these two together.
Okay.
Now remember, the milk has to be hot because you added ghee there, right? And can you see these tiny balls forming, right? Because you want the milk to be warm enough so that the ghee gets melted and you get a really smooth paste like this, a batter, right? So this is actually the batter which has already been made. Okay. So but anyways, we'll just try. Yeah. So why don't you put the mixture, the dry mix in into that bowl. Dump the entire thing in, and then this.
And then, like always, you're gonna drop something.
Yeah, but this time there won't be any sizzle, so don't worry. There's just like warm milk and sugar, right? So I'm just going to add some, and you give it a mix. So remember, you want a paste, a batter that looks like this, right? So the thickness. So you don't want to pour all the liquid at once. Yeah. So this is the texture you want. Can you show our audience the texture, right? This is it should flow out of the cup.
So I'm certified Nepali.
Yeah, you're no, the next this is the main step.
Okay.
Because this is sel roti we're making, right? It's another staple, but this is not something we make regularly. This is for us, it's once a year. We make this once a year, so you have to really learn the process, you know. So once that is done, we have a mix like this, right? We prefer cup which you can squeeze, right? So that
you can give the shape.
Yeah, you can give the shape, right? It's the thickness of the batter that comes out. You can regulate with this. So you just lower your flame slightly, and you give it like this, something like this. Right, so you can see it's almost a circle.
Almost.
It looks good enough, I think, right?
No,
so you let it cook.
I'll definitely eat this.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to.
You have to try next in order to be certified, right? So you can see the bottom is browning, right? Obviously, it's like a donut now, right? And after it's cooked, you just turn it over, let that side cook, and then you're done. It doesn't take long, actually. So you can see the bottom is browned. We usually prefer to do this with a chopstick, right? And once this is done, you just take this and you flip it over. Okay. Good. And once the bubbling stops, you know it's cooked. I think this should be done. Yeah, this is more or less done. You don't want it overcooked it also. Okay, I'll just take this off. Strain the oil. And yeah, you put it on your plate. Right, so you try it. Okay.
Moment of truth.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yes.
And
so we finally.
Yeah, we're now at the most
interesting part.
The most interesting part of the show, and that's the tasting. So I don't like to talk much about it.
Yeah, that's just so. This has been cooking for about 40 minutes now, right? So like I said, this went through 4 whistles on high flame and 2 whistles on low flame.
Okay.
So let's see. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, right? So let's see. It looks cooked. How's it smell? Okay, smell it. Yeah. So
smells good.
you don't want to mix it too much because you know the meat is tender now, so the meat will turn into gravy. So let me find you a good piece. Right. I'll serve you something like this. Which is your plate? So this is the meat. Do you want to try potato? Maybe eat this. Yeah. And I'll find something for myself. Let's try.
And maybe
this is
this is the sale roti, right?
Yeah, this is the sale roti. This is the one you made. The double.
Yeah, let's try this.
Yeah, and some chutney. Of course, you made this too. So let's try some of these. And also on the side, because I'm anticipating that this might be a little too spicy for you.
Okay.
So I made some iced tea for us.
Wow.
So I use Darjeeling iced tea. This is tea and sugar, and I added a little bit of pomegranate juice. Right. Okay. So what we're going to do is we'll take a glass with some ice in it, right?
Okay.
Put some pomegranate. Like if you want to make it more fancy, maybe a lemon. And you just, so once we put the pomegranate in, we'll take the strainer, although it doesn't need to be strained much, just a lemon, and you just pour your mix in.
Right.
And if you want to add more lemon, you can obviously add more lemon. I like a little bit of pomegranate on my tea.
Okay.
So this is it. So let's try.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's a
Okay.
good, yeah.
I want to take myself. Would you like a spoon?
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's taste. I'll watch you taste my food.
I'm gonna go for the chutney
Yeah.
first.
Same. Do you feel a sense of ownership over the chutney because you
I'd
made
like
it?
to take this plate home if you love me. The mustard,
Oh,
I can really kick in the flavors of
the lemon might be a little. We went a little crazy on the lemon. I think
but I feel
it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
The potato's soft.
Let's try the protein now.
The same.
How does
as I
it go
made.
with this? How does it go with this? Like all together?
One word. Yummy.
What?
That's what I said. One
Oh.
word. Yummy.
Okay. Thank you, Will. And thank you for working so hard for this.
It's been my pleasure. So with this, I make a toast to Mr. Rajeev. Thank you for coming.
Thank you
on
for
our
having
show.
me. Thank you for
And all the best for your endeavors.
Thank you, man.
Cheers.
Same to you.
So keep watching our show, Food Diaries, right here on Doordarshan, Meghalaya.